Good morning, you guys. Louie is here. Maureen is here. Alyssa, good morning. Is it just a slit opening, Alyssa? That eye? That's funny. Good morning, Carter. I sent your package off yesterday. We get some Sasquatch poo. Cracks me up still. I might have to buy some for my son. Oh, it is going to be a really nice day out, and I'm going to put some curtains up. Because, yeah, it's bright out here. Trying to get a spot. What I have to figure out is if I get good reception here. So you guys have to tell me. Good morning, Carlene. You guys have to tell me if my video looks choppy, because I'm having a hard time finding a good spot out here in the garage. I slept a little bit. I was cold, more cold than anything. Good morning, Mike. I should have taken a hot bath, but the problem with that is I fall asleep in the bathtub. And so, you can't win for losing. And it's not really cold. I'm cold because my thyroid is I don't have one anymore. Good morning. Did you sleep any, Jen? Holy moly. So, I look like sometimes I live up in Alaska with Amphisa in the far north. Sometimes I think I'm more bundled up than she is. You love your baths. I do too. I wish my bathtub was bigger, but it isn't. So my mom always tells me I can come down and use her hot tub, which is outside. Whoo, the thought of that. I mean, that's where most hot tubs are, I guess, but I don't even know if I could put a swimsuit on to get in it, much less the thought of getting out of it. I'd probably die in the hot tub because I wouldn't want to get out and deal with the cold for however long. It's hard to explain. I'm sure everybody has been so cold at one point in time that what's the saying, cold to the bone? There's only one way to warm up from that, and that's a hot bath. And once you're warm like that, you don't want to leave. One of the best inventions, two best inventions ever made: seat warmers for your car and heated mattress pads for your bed. That's all I can say. It's not really that cold here. As a matter of fact, Dren, I think Saturday and Sunday it was in the 80s. Yesterday it was close to 80. Had to be close to 80 yesterday. So it's not like it's cold. But when I get cold, my house is cold inside just because it holds it. And it's old. Yesterday I have a wheelbarrow that's got the two front wheels on the front. He has it over by the water spigot and filled it full of water. And Sunday he spent most of the day lounging. I should have gotten pictures of that. Yesterday he spent most of the day playing in the wheelbarrow with every dinosaur and that kind of animal that he could lug downstairs. So yeah, you can imagine that. I did take pictures of that. Now he has a couple of sharks or whatever that he has taken pipe cleaner, tied the pipe cleaner around them, and then tied the pipe cleaner around rocks so that they will float underneath the water. That's what you call ingenuity right there. He figured that one out all by himself. Anyway, good morning, Eric. Good morning, Chandra. So, how's everybody's week going? I can't hear you. Oh, there's no video. There's no sound. You won't believe the cell that I woke up to. I put it on my Instagram. all the pencils that I've been selling over and over and over. Let me go get it. Hang on a second. Don't laugh at me. I have pajamas on still. Okay, well, I guess you couldn't see them, so that's good. You can't make this shit up, you guys. It's a Welch's grape juice jar. I bought this jar full of pencils. They were in somebody's garage. It was just their jar of pencils that they used. He was a very prominent businessman here, and he owned a huge electrical company, and he passed away. And there was almost a dozen of his own pencils from his own business in here that one of his friends down in Southern Oregon bought because he was never able to get up here. He sent me a really nice note. Anyway, I paid 50 cents for this. It was full of pencils. I've already made over $150 off of the pencils, which I still have quite a few left. So this was a cool sale to wake up to. $26.99 plus shipping. I never thought this would sell. This was kind of like one of those things that I was testing myself on. Like, I'm going to list that and see if that thing sells. And it sold to somebody in Concord, North Carolina. Can't beat that. That's good, Eric. I bet you're about to get busy. Or is it starting to get busy in your business right now? Is this the busier time when you start selling a lot more devices and having to do stuff with them? Eric does why can't I talk? Good morning, Shelly. I know, huh? And it's not vintage and it doesn't glow. What are you gonna do? Too cold. Oh, in a week or two. My nephew does all of the, why can't I think of the exact words, because I know what you do. My nephew set up all of the devices and the tractors on their farm. And then when my sister and brother-in-law and the kids are all part of the business too, they've all combined. I know exactly, Carter, like your used water bottle. GPS for farm equipment, tractors and stuff like that. That's what Eric does. That's correct? That's the right way to say it, I believe, Eric. Anyway, and it's really cool. And so when they sold their farm, they have two other farms in Nehalem, which is between Astoria, Oregon, and Tillamook, but they sell their milk to Tillamook. You guys know that. You've heard it a million times. My nephew decided not to go down and be part of the farm anymore. So they bought a house in Astoria. He has 4 boys of his own, and they have adopted a little girl. And the people that bought their farm in Astoria are actually from New Zealand, and he stayed on to work at the farm. He had a house at the farm, actually the biggest house on the farm. He and his wife and the kids did. So he manages, and he's doing the same thing he did as part of the farm business. So he manages all the equipment and the planting and all the GPS and all of that kind of stuff. So, and then my other nephew, my brother that's here on the farm with me, he does construction and that kind of stuff, and he learned all the GPS systems, and nobody else could figure them out or wanted to spend the time on it. So he went from digging ditches to running the equipment to being the person that's in charge of all the GPS stuff. Good morning, Lynn. So there you have it. If you want to learn something and scoot in on something else, give Eric a call and he'll teach you how to use GPS systems for farm equipment and heavy equipment, because it's definitely a thing. Definitely a thing. What do you got there? Palm trees, sun, a hibiscus flower, hearts, and coffee. I'm a coffee. It's Dutch Bros. I went to an estate sale and I left my coffee cup it's similar to that. I've had it for like 5 years. I left it sitting on a table there. We were waiting outside for somebody to come meet us to pick up my new bed. And I was just sitting on the steps drinking my coffee, and got about 45 minutes away, and I was like, oh, well, I guess that thing's gone. I don't like Dutch Bros. They're not, I mean, I shouldn't say, I don't personally like the flavor of their coffee. Their coffee's good, for sure. Way better than a lot, but I don't like I like the flavor of Starbucks. I don't necessarily like Starbucks, but I like the flavor of their coffee. I don't, and Dren likes their, this is hilarious. Every once in a while, he'll go, Nanny, can we go get a coffee milkshake? He's spoiled rotten. Spoiled rotten. But yep. And Dutch Bros is everywhere around here. See, we don't have, Baskin Robbins must be a bigger thing on the East Coast, because we don't even have, not Baskin Robbins, Dunkin' Donuts. Wow. Baskin Robbins and Dunkin' Donuts when I was a kid were right next door to each other. There was a McDonald's, a Taco Bell, a Baskin Robbins, and Dunkin' Donuts. That was the strip. And I don't even know if we even have a Dunkin' Donuts around here. I'm sure there is, but I'm gonna have to look that up. But I don't even think I've ever had a coffee. I'm losing it, right? But we do have Voodoo Donuts, so I'll take that. Your daughter loves Dutch Bros flamingo drink. Einstein bagels. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds really good, actually. Do you guys have Winco in your areas, or is that mostly just no Dunkin' here? Yeah, that's what I thought, Shelly. I haven't. Hazeldale, where Fred Meyer's is in Hazeldale on Highway 99. You had Fred Meyer's, and then there was Steak Burger, which I grew up with and graduated with, and my sister did. All the family. A Steak Burger was like a cool 50s. I love Winco has a coffee as espresso bean roast, and that is my favorite coffee. That's where I buy my coffee. That's my favorite coffee to buy and make at home. If I'm just drinking coffee. But Steak Burger was a Pet Golf, and we always had we wanted to eat there, but then it was gone. Yeah. I don't know if she's still doing it, but the daughter that was graduated with my sister, she has a food truck, from Steak Burger food truck. I don't know if she's doing it this year or not. She was doing it last year, but then with COVID and everything, I don't know. But you can look that up on. You can look her up. It's the same, tastes the same. It's actually probably better, Shelly. But then there's Steak Burger. Then there was, I think it was McDonald's, Taco Bell, blah blah blah, all right there. And now they tore down. They sold Steak Burger, and there's all kinds of stuff in there. There's like what's the bread, Panera breads and all that, rebuilt, tore down Taco Bell, McDonald's, all of that, and rebuilt new ones. Times a changing. Time to move along, little doggy. I I wanted to talk to you guys about a gal. Her name is Janet. Let's see. I am going to let's see, this. Antiques from Janet is her. Antiques from Karen, excuse me. Why? There we go. I'm going to put her link in the chat. Her name is Janet. Her mother's name is Karen. Panora Dutch, yep. Go watch her. Her mother passed away 3 years ago, 4 years ago, and she inherited her mother's house. I'm not going to say too much because I want you to go watch her. She is documenting her journey of inheriting her mother's estate and her hoarded house. And her first two videos are, I don't know if they're exactly her first two videos. She has 3 videos now. She just did another one talking about it, but the first 2, I believe, are her journey. She's going to be on Antiques and Profits on Sunday with Scotty and Chris. Now they are in Canada. I believe it starts at 5 o'clock my time, Pacific Northwest, Pacific Daylight Time. Woo. Anyway, I am trying to get her. She put out a video the other night and called out some resellers who have just really reached out and touched her heart and stuff like that. So she's documenting her journey, going through the house and her trials and errors and tribulations. And what an inspiration. I'm going to get my aunt to start watching her because I would like my aunt to not to be her own Janet. So the name of the channel is Antiques by Karen, and Karen was her mother and Janet is her name. And I left her a message and invited her to come on sometime. So maybe sometime she'll come on and we can talk to her. But no, Carter, you cannot. Do you guys have flat? You're in Canada. Do you guys have flat rate? You can't use a flat rate priority box if you're using priority but not using it for flat rate. Oh crap, I'm glad you said that, because I gotta change shit. I gotta fix a package before I go to the post office. Sorry, squirrel. If you can't even turn them inside out because they're printed on both sides here. That's for a reason. Are you playing with me? Why would you use a flat rate priority box? Good morning, Janet. I was just talking about you. I put your link in the chat so that everybody can go and sub to you, and I need to put Scotty's link down in the chat too. There you go. There's a good answer for you. I don't know if Carter sells on. Carter, do you sell on Poshmark? I'd like to see that sell. Horrible. Um, so Scotty and Chris, I'm work with me, people. They send parcels to them. Oh, you're hilarious. And I print the USPS labels. You're pretty good at that. How far are you from the border? Do you have a tunnel? Do you have a tunnel in your house that you can crawl under? Oh, hilarious. Yes, I was telling everybody about your journey, Janet, and I was telling them, what you're doing. And I didn't want to tell them too much because I want them to come and watch your videos, especially the first two where you talk about um, starting the journey and all of that. And then the one, I believe I commented on that one. I don't know. Yeah, the one you put out last night, which would be 3. Good morning, Joe. How are you? Um, anyway, um, Janet is going to be on Scotty's show on Sunday. So, and it's really a good show. Scotty has about 730 subscribers. They've been around for a while. They do a they've been doing shows for a while. And then on Wednesdays they're on Chris's channel. Um, so they go back and forth. You'll have to fit it in a priority bubble mailer. Do you need me to send you some USPS priority boxes, Carter? You're cracking me up. Oh, anyway, so and there's another channel that I watch, not as much as I should, and I shouldn't say watch. I don't always watch. I listen. I listen to a lot of people. The Overstuffed House. She has a similar situation. However, as Janet says and would say, not quite as, and maybe Janet wouldn't say this, I'm going to say it, not quite as intense as what Janet has to deal with and has dealt with. But you can't rate your experience on somebody else's, what your intensity level can handle as compared to somebody else's, because we all deal with things differently. Uh-oh, did I miss somebody? Paul. Wow, I'm doing good. Noel, look up Stallion Express. They give us your boxes. We print the labels. They take them all to the border. Oh, you're serious. I need help, Carter, but I don't have to tell you that. That's hilarious. Nancy, thank you, Janet. Anyway, I think you guys will enjoy this, and I guess what? Much cheaper. Oh, I bet. It's probably similar to our pirate ship, would be my guess, correct, Carter? Because you guys can't use pirate ship up in Canada. Um, so I have an aunt that's not my biological aunt. Hi, Melissa. And I met her through Justin, my oldest boy. Um, he was friends with her only grandson and pretty much her only living relative left on the planet, because we had a really bad year of apples one year, and they have you pay a small fee on top of the US. That's pretty cool. That's not bad. Um, and we make cider, apple cider every year. We have one of the old. It's on its 5th generation in our family cider press. Anyway, and my son's friend said my grandparents, which was his grandfather and his aunt, have tons of apples on their property, and they said you can come and get whatever they wanted. Well, they ended up being needing help. He passed away. It's been a year now. He was 90, almost 91, or maybe he just turned, yeah, he just turned 90. Anyway, so it took, so then I was like, somehow, somewhere, some way, and throughout all of it, it's been almost 8 years now, I think, I've been taking care of their property, and slowly but slowly, you couldn't see it from the road. All the fences were overgrown, all the trees were down low. The pasture, the orchard in the back. I have lots of pictures on my Instagram from there and that. They moved up here in the 70s from California, and he worked for Lockheed Martin, and he was super intelligent. I have all of his old electronics. I have his old, can't think of what it's called right now. It'll hit me in a little bit and I'll spout it out. Anyway, they are hoarders. Her mother died. I never met her mother, and I did landscaping for her sister too. Her sister passed away last year also. And so it's just her now, and and 7 cats. What do you think about that, Janet? You're actually fixing all your shipping policies for Chit Chat right now. That is another reshipper from, that is cool. See, nobody, and I listened to a bunch of you guys and gals and peoples across the border, and you never hear anybody talk about that, about another service for you guys. Good morning. It's the Billies from Idaho. How are you guys doing? I'm surprised you're in. You must have snow, or you'd be out metal detecting. Anyway, my aunt is a horrible hoarder, and my grandfather was too. And the last 2 years that he was alive, anytime she would go into town, he would just load boxes of stuff up, and he didn't care what it was, and he would put it outside, and he would just cover it with like an old rug or a carpet or something, and basically he would just wait until I came over, and he would while I was mowing, sometimes he would load my car up or he would put it in the shed. Oh my goodness, every time I find one of those boxes, I get mad at him because he shouldn't have been doing it in the first place. His shed was quite a far away from the house. It's mushroom. Hunting morels, correct? Yep. If you guys don't follow Idaho Hillbilly, and they also have another channel called Mountain Junkers. Go follow those guys. So I want my aunt to start watching Janet's channel and Nancy's channel, because I want her to be her own best advocate. And I think that she would enjoy it. And I think that the way that you are going about going through, and you said something that really touched my heart, and I've said this a million times, Janet. A lot of my aunt does not have a problem getting rid of stuff. Her problem is that it's not a problem. In her situation, she needs to see everything and touch everything. And if that means that she has a box that is full of pages that were torn out of magazines that her mother had for 20 years, she needs to go through that whole box and touch every piece of paper. And the problem with that is that she doesn't have that kind of time because she's not well. And I can't help her with that. Nobody, Janet, you'll understand this. Nobody can help somebody with this. Uh, We hope you are signed up to Canada Post business discount. Carter, you need to be talking to Carl and he'll hook you up. Sounds like. Christy, good morning. Anyway, so you have hoarders. You have hoarders who are hoarding because most, in my opinion, from what I understand and what I've been around and the people that I have helped, all hoarders hoard for a reason, and it obviously, and I'm trying to spit this out in the best way because I don't want anybody to be offended or think that I think I'm better or whatever. Most people who are in a situation where they hoard have had something traumatic happen to them at some point in time. If you watch Curiosity Inc. and you go back and you watch The Musician's House, there's an episode that he does where he talks about, he goes back into the history of her because he knew her. He didn't know her like super personally friends, but he did know her. He goes back in one episode and talks about where he could see when her mom died was when she really started hoarding, and that was her catalyst, for lack of better word, into hoarding. She was an only child. Her father passed away, and it was her and her mom. Her mom was her best friend. She was a very well-known person, very well-traveled person, a very highly regarded music teacher. And yeah, it's caused by trauma. And you cannot just go in somebody's house. No, there's not a hoarder around that doesn't want help. And what a lot of people don't understand is they're super lonely and they're super hurting, and they have no other way to express themselves than to surround themselves with things that make them feel comforted. These things that they have don't talk back to them, they don't give them grief, and they don't hurt them. And the more of these things that they have, the more comforted that they feel. My aunt is I could handle the hoarding, but the cats, and she is not able to take care of them like she can. And nobody else will go in her house except for me and my youngest son, me and my boys, and my grandkids. And it took her almost a year to let me go in her house, her and my grandfather, and I call him Emperor. That was my nickname for him, and I miss him so horribly. And I always give credit when I'm showing my what solds. If I sold something that my grandfather gave me, and I have boxes of stuff from him, and I pull them out and list stuff here and there, and I will sell it. I'm not attached to it. It makes me happy to see, something that I know was his, and it makes me even happier to see it go to somebody else when they buy it, because I know they're going to enjoy it, and that would make him happy. I just want you to understand, Janet, that there are people out there who really do. I get angry with my aunt a lot because there are things that she doesn't, in my opinion, because I am not her. that she doesn't need to have, and that would be the 45 million, I'm exaggerating, empty containers from takeout food, packets of ketchup, all that stuff, those little things. And, you know, little stuff like that. But that's part of her comfort zone. She used to teach quilting and she loved to sew. And when my grandfather passed away, I said, I don't want you to bring anything in his room. We took the medical bed and all of his stuff out. I said, I want to go through the what compared to the rest of the house, what few things are left in here and get this room tidied up so that we can set your sewing machine up and your ironing board and all of that, and you can start sewing again. And she was so excited about that. And 3 weeks later, I come back and it's full. It's full. She's just, but she's like, look, I made progress out here. And I said, no, I said, you just shuffled stuff. I said, and then and I felt bad for saying it that way because I can tell when she feels like, I can tell when she feels ashamed by the look on her face, but more by her stance, what she does with her head. And I looked at her and I said, you did good out here and don't feel ashamed. I said, I want you to have something to do because you're here by yourself. And I said, and she has boxes and boxes, her whole family room. They can't even, my grandfather could get through there. I can get through there. She can't. It's just filled with vintage, hold yourselves, 60s, 70s, and 80s material. Oh my God, you guys. The collars, can I just say, but it all has to be washed. I have found a way to get the cat smell out of it. At one point in time, I thought we were going to have to trash it all. Now, some of the fabrics I am having to trash because just the kind of blends that they are, but the cottons and the wool, I have been able to put the wool outside, and I've sold a bunch of wool that they had in a cedar chest. Beautiful. I've sold a bunch of that, almost all of it for her. But anyway, so bit by bit, and I get angry and with myself because I get angry with her, and there's no reason for me to get angry with her because she's suffering. She's suffering, and I'm the only one that she will let go in her house. So I got to go over there today and tomorrow and mow her lawn and go, good morning, Dawn. Good morning, David. So, Janet, there are a lot of lovely people in this chat, and I know you've met some others. I know that she loves Victoria. And you talked about Larry. Is that LL Stash, Larry? And Philly Picker, I believe you talked about him. Paul, he's in here. So I think I don't talk about this a lot. I don't talk about my aunt a lot, and I love her so much. And it's my days to cry. We all have them, right? Yesterday, today. I have an immense amount of guilt right now because she is so lonely, and I need to spend more time with her. I wish our farm would sell so I could buy a piece of property and move her in with me, and then we could she loves my kid. She's not even my blood relative, and I don't care. She is. Suffering in silence, in a heap of memories that are killing her. And I think that that is what happened to Janet's mom, Karen. And some people think that people that hoard are mean, nasty, horrible people, and they're not. The majority of them would do anything for anybody. They would give you the shirt off their back. Just don't take the shirt that's on the top of the stack in their room. If that makes sense. Because they are lonely and they are hurting and they feel the only comfort that they have is their things. And they feel that nobody out there understands them. And then they have all these stupid hoarder shows. Some of them are good because they go into all of this stuff. They go into all of it. There's one that was filmed in the UK that is a daughter and a mother and her brother too. They actually rented. I don't know if this. I'm gonna have to do a little digging. It's been a while since I've watched it. I am so sorry to you haven't triggered me at all. Not at all. Not at all, Janet. I had a hard. I had yesterday was last night was the 3-year anniversary of my catching on fire and getting burnt. That's a whole nother day. I did a little video last night. Don't go watch it. You'll just cry. I should probably take it down actually. But anyway, so that's just where I am today. And I think that as resellers, we see, especially if you do estate sales, and that is my jam. You're a happy hoarder. Kevin and Miss Kitty. I'm a happy hoarder too, but I don't think we can consider ourselves true hoarders, Kevin, because we sell a lot of the stuff that we have. I get a lot of things with the thought that I would like to keep them, like that cream separator right there. Right there. Why do I have that? Because I have it. Because I bought it to sell it. I have another one outside that has plants in it. I'm keeping that one. This one I am selling. I thought about giving it to my mom for a while. Guess who has to clean her place out when she's no longer here? Yep. Are you, Janet, are you on Instagram? Or here, I'll just put it. This is, I don't normally do this, but I'll just do. I really want to keep everything too, Kevin. It's in the chat, Janet. I really want to keep everything too. But you need money to buy more. And that's the whole point of it. You get to enjoy it while you've got it listed and sold. And so all you guys laugh at me, list it and forget it. Don't go in and change the prices. Don't do this, don't do that. Somebody might buy it. And then you won't have this cool Welch's glass jar anywhere, for crying out loud, to look at. What's wrong with all you people ending your listings and relisting them so that it'll get out the door? Good morning, Marie. Kevin just let our secrets out the door. Oh, my goodness. That's it. You're fired. Good morning.
I'm sitting here crying.
You're muted, and I don't think it's me.
Okay, let me fix it. Hold on.
Or maybe it's, I
How
don't,
about now?
can you guys hear Janet?
Can
Hang
you
on,
hear me now?
let me do this. Janet, I think you're still muted. Because I can see it, and oh, she'll be back. Yeah, do you know the little tiny jelly jars that Welch's put out, and they had a series with the dinosaurs on them, and then they have a series with super. You can hear Janet. I wonder what is wrong. Oh, oh wow, Janet, it's not you. Come back. That was all me. That was all me.
Is it working now?
It wasn't you. It wasn't you. I have my speaker turned all the way down on my computer. That's hilarious.
Oh,
You'll just have to understand that I'm a hot mess most of the time. There's
that's
always
okay.
something technical that goes on.
I'm sitting here. I'm over here crying with you.
You know, I want my aunt to have a year, maybe two. She's 70. My mom's 78. Now this isn't when I talk about my aunt, we'll call her name's Elise. And so like I said, she's not a blood relative, but she is. You don't get to choose your relatives, right? You do
No.
you do. Because I have chosen her. I tell this to my granddaughter all the time, because she's not my blood granddaughter. And she was super jealous of my blood grandson. And I said, I don't love you any more or any less than I love Dren. And she goes, how is that possible? I go, you were chosen. Dren was a gift. You were chosen. There's no different spot in my heart for him than for you.
Yeah.
So I said, so stop with all this crap. You are 6 years older than him. You get treated differently because there's a 6-year time, but you got treated the same as he did when you were little. Trust me.
Yeah.
And so I want for our farm to sell, which it will. I live in Southwest Washington, right at the border of Portland, Oregon and Washington. I'm 16 miles from Oregon. And we have the last piece of property that is a corner off of I-5, and I believe in the state of Washington, and there's 49 acres. I live in the house I grew up in. There you go. So that's a short little synopsis. And my dad was killed in a tractor accident in 1990. So good morning, Leroy. Good morning, Gina. If I miss you guys, I'm sorry. Your mom's turning 80 in June. I'm in. Is it bad, Marie? I'm sitting by the garage door. Oh, no, that's not bad. It's better than it was the other night. I'm trying to find a spot in my garage. You drove by on Sunday and said hi. Were you the crazy person hanging out the window, swirling your top, Shelly? Anyway, so they built a casino across the freeway from us, which I have no problems with that. I know most of the people that were in the tribe. I went to school with them. I hope that they can suck all the money they can out of whoever, because we did that to them. We sucked their families from them when we came to this country. Our other generations did. Anyway, I'm ready to be gone from here. But it's also comforting to walk out. You know, sometimes I sit outside and have my cup of coffee and I think, oh, Dad's going to be walking around the pump house any minute coming from the barn. But, you know, so there's good and bad being here. I'm ready to be gone. I'm ready to be gone. My mom's going to there's a creek that runs between her house and the main road, and it goes down to a creek. So it's a pie-shaped piece of property. She's going to keep that. She's 78. My sister wants her to sell her piece of property and move down by her. We'll see. What did you say, Marie? All right. These guys are they're laughing about me in the chat because they know that I can't keep up with them. So I just let them have their way.
Nice.
And then I go back later and I read what they say and I have a good giggle.
Nice.
Um,
So I wanted to, I mean, this woman that is not your blood relative, but you call her your aunt, and the pain that you're feeling and everything else, I understand it more than you can possibly know. I've shed
no, I know
so
you
many
do.
tears,
Yep.
so many tears over just trying, but you need to understand you can't fix her.
No, I can't fix her. I
No.
absolutely cannot. I don't want to fix her. I want her to just she's so overwhelmed, and what I will do with her is, like, I'll go over there today. The mice and the rats are so bad in the garage that there isn't a lot salvageable.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I do. I
And
definitely do.
yeah, I'm sure you do. And the biggest problem for her is she has a lot of friends. She really does. She's the gossip. You know what I mean? She talks to everybody in the neighborhood. She knows what's going on with
Yep.
everybody, but she doesn't let anybody in her house. I couldn't even imagine.
So when my mom's hoarding was at its worst, like you said, I mean, it started when I left home at 15, but then it
Here you
got
go,
worse
Gina.
as her parents passed away. And when it got to the point where my heart was just aching all the time for her situation, and I kept trying to take time off of work, and go and try to help her, ease her stress and things like that. It got to the point where I needed to understand, I needed to accept that that was exactly the way she was, and the way that I was able to bring joy into her life was open up my home to her.
Right.
So she had access to my home. Like, I got one of those key code locks to my house, and she came in and went all the time as she pleased because she didn't have water, she didn't have heat. So she came over, she did laundry, she cooked, she played in my gardens, and that's giving her a break and having her have another place where she felt comfortable and felt like a second home to her. That
Plus,
eased her
plus,
pain, and
plus,
it
you
gave
were
her
there.
well, I wasn't always there. Sometimes she would
No,
just
but
go
you
there.
were there.
I know.
You
I know.
were there, and you are alive when she was there. I
Yeah.
mean, you were there in a sphere for her.
Right.
And that was a comfort for her.
Yes. But
So
that was one of the
key
things I
lime
wanted to
kisses,
suggest to you was to take her out. Give
we
give her
do.
another environment.
We do. And she comes over here. Um so, like, she's like 4 foot. She's not she might be 5 feet tall. She has an ostomy bag, and so she loves nothing more than to go shopping, and not necessarily to shop, just to be out in the stores, right? So
Hmm.
COVID has been really super hard on her. Um, and I go over there at least every 2 weeks, and my oldest boy does too. And he she just loves him. I mean, he he treats her like her grandson should treat her. You know what I mean? And that's we all call her Annie Elise. That's what we all call her. And she spends hours making Christmas baskets and Easter baskets and birthday baskets for everybody, Halloween,
Yep.
Valentine, you know. Um, and she calls me to see what the kids are in. She knows because she's seen us like 2 days before and we've had the conversation, but it makes her happy. And it's those little tiny things that will irritate a lot of people, and they irritate me at times too, that we need to understand
Yeah.
that once that person is gone and you are hurting so bad that they're gone because you miss them, It's not so much so that you miss them. I explain this to my nephew. You're pissed at yourself because you didn't do more for them, or a one little sharp word or one little nasty thing that might have come out of your mouth towards them, and then you didn't see them for a little while, or you didn't hear from them for a little while, or you didn't go over there for a little while because you were going to punish them in your mind, punish them. When all they really want to do is be in somebody's presence that loves them, or be in their house,
Yeah, but
or
unfortunately, they don't always. When you give them your presence, they don't always appreciate it. They resist
exactly,
it. They push. They feel violated. It's. I don't. I didn't have any guilt when I finally lost my mom. I know that I did the best that I could at all times, and it was very tumultuous. There was wow, there was some screaming matches in my life, but it was the disease. It wasn't her. All she
right,
wanted to do was love me, and she was proud of
right,
me. I was her only child, and I mean, anybody that would listen, she would sit there and tell them everything that I was doing in my life and all of my accomplishments and everything else. But then, we'd get together and it was there were a lot of bad times, but that's the illness.
exactly.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that the more people that actually, like what you and Nancy are doing, um, you're coming in after you're what is it? There's a song. There's a song for this, and it'll hit me. Um, so you don't know my backstory that well, but I had cancer, and I've been burnt, and I have a hard time sometimes spitting words out. They're there. And
Hmm.
so sometimes maybe 20 minutes later it'll go whoop, there it is.
That's all
So
right.
um it's hard to, I don't know.
It'll
I
come to
think
you.
I was trying to think of the name of the song, but um being a reseller, being a um my sister's a hoarder, and my niece is really bad. I can't even go to her house. I
Yeah.
literally, because she doesn't just hoard things, but she doesn't throw garbage away.
Yeah. See, that didn't happen with my mom. So there wasn't like the A&E show, The Hoarders. I mean, that
Yeah,
show is
that's,
just a
yeah,
horrible
it's a horrible show.
dramatization show, and they purposely trigger those people. My mom was going to
Well,
be on it.
it's
So,
just like Antiques Roadshow. I mean, what's the difference? Nothing. It's all a setup. There's
true,
parts of it. There's parts of it you see that are real,
true.
but they traumatize those people.
They do, and they do it on
They're
purpose.
not only do they traumatize them so badly that then they want to come back and see how their place is looking a year later.
Yeah.
Most of them, it's 10 times worse.
No, it didn't take me long once I got to the point with the producers,
Bye,
and
David.
they were in the process of signing a contract and getting everybody ramped up to come out that week with their team and everything else, and just wrapping up the details of how everything was going to happen. There was one there was one producer that just said something that just made the hair on the back of my neck stand up, and I was just like, you know what, I'm not interested.
Something doesn't feel right
it
here.
did it wasn't right. It was, you know because I was working on my mom for so long trying to get her to go on that show, because I
Oh, she
believe
was she's
having
was she
that
still
team.
alive? She was
What?
still alive when
She
you
was
were
still
doing this?
alive,
Oh,
yes.
for some reason I got the impression, because I saw you talking about that. For some
Yeah.
reason I got the impression that they wanted to come out.
No,
and help you.
No,
Okay. Yeah.
they
Oh,
want
yeah,
the
man.
hoarder there. They want the hoarder there so that they can make them freak out. I mean, it's like looking at an animal in the zoo.
It's like shock
That's
syndrome. Oh, yeah.
right.
It's
It's
yeah.
it was awful. But I had been working on her for a month and a half before the video was submitted to the show, and my kids were like, "Grandma, please do this, and think about how much free help you'll have to pick things up and move them and sort things." And I mean, we just wrapped our arms around her with love and told her that we would be there to support her through it and that we would protect her. And I we were ready to do it as a family. And
Right.
there was some sort of comment. It was something about, if things are going too well, in order to get, an element of drama, is there someone in the family that could like threaten to call the fire marshal or something like that? And I was like, wait, what did you just say? And then they tried to like backtrack a little bit on what they were asking me, and I was like, listen, my mother has high blood pressure, and this has taken me months, to get her to the point where she's willing to have you people come here. And I was all about the 6 months of therapy afterwards, and all this other stuff, and you're telling me that you want to surprise her with a threat from a fire marshal? I'm done. And they were like, wait, I'm done.
Yeah.
So we ended
So
it there.
there is a show, um, and it's out of the UK.
You're talking about
Um,
the new show?
no, no, no. I don't watch a lot of TV. This show is a woman whose mother was a hoarder. She had a 3-story house. I can't remember if it had a basement or not. Um, and I can't remember what the woman did. If she was worked for a TV station or what. I mean, not so much so that she was well known or anything. The daughter,
Okay.
but um, they she did this on her own with her mother, and then I think her brother came in and helped. This wasn't a show, but but I think somehow she had ties with whatever. She was the one that did it was like a documentary, but it went on for I don't know 5 or 6 weeks, whatever she did. It's usually an hour, maybe 2 hours. It wasn't at all like Hoarders, right?
It sounds
They
like one of the documentaries that there's a channel called Only Human.
Yes, I exactly. That's
Is that
exactly
it?
the challenge. They
Yeah.
rented a warehouse
Yep.
and they loaded up everything in her mom's house and
Mm-hmm.
they took it to the warehouse and they had sectioned off areas like this is all the stuff that came from the dining room. This is
Yep.
all the stuff that came from the kitchen.
Yep.
Then they went through her mom's house and they cleaned everything and they got it,
Yep.
painted it. I mean, and and then room by room by room by room they sorted through
Yep.
each thing.
Yeah.
And that to me is probably the best um documentary that I have seen. And she talked about her mom's struggles and she talked about her struggles with her mom. And then they actually went back, she goes back and checks on her mom and talked about how she's it's begun again and this and she works with her mom though. She talks to her. That's a good show if anybody really wants to
I'll have
see.
to go look for that one.
So yeah, but it is on
I
that.
do think that it's on that Only Human
Yeah, it's on that.
channel though, because they also have the UK series where there's a psychologist that's curing hoarders supposedly within 6 weeks. But these are hoarders that are at the point where something has changed in their life and they don't want the isolation and the lonely anymore, and they're actually at the point where they absolutely positively are ready to make a change, they sought therapy.
See,
And that rarely happens.
That's how my grandfather was. He wanted the shit gone. He was done. He literally was. And and like I said, she would go into town to get groceries or whatever, and he was like, woohoo, throwing I could just see him. He always did it when he was alone, right? But I could just see him because we were going through the garage trying to get a path in the garage, so that he could get around and get stuff. And I had sat him out in the underneath the tree, and my aunt over here, and they each had a table, and I would bring a box to each of them, and Justin, my oldest boy, was helping, right? So he kind of helped her because I am a high functioning anxiety, and as much as I love Elise, it was like this is where it really got me, where I really figured her out. She has no problem getting rid of things. She needs to touch everything. And when you said that in one of your video, that is very therapeutic for you to touch everything.
In the beginning.
I totally got that, because it doesn't matter to Elise if it's a piece of scrap paper on the floor.
Yep.
Or if it's a gold bar,
single
it's all treated the same. Yeah, well, I mean, what did you find the other? And you found your mom's will and what you think might be her wedding band and all of that. And I mean,
with the beginning of it, I had people in my life that they offered to come over and help, and it turned into, it was like this emotional storm would happen with me, because all of a sudden I was my mom and they were me, saying, why are you gonna go through that whole box? Just throw it. There's kitty litter in there, there's this in there. And I was just like, I have to do this my way. I have to be comfortable.
You have to.
I had to. And I'm at the point now where I'm better with it. But I was reading every single piece of paper that had her handwriting on it. And she would write notes to herself and draw pictures to her. So the number of notebooks is just mind blowing. There must have been a total of 5,000 notebooks, and I'm still finding them.
They were her best friend. They were her confidant. That's what she had.
Talk to herself, in these notebooks. So it just, I get it now, and I still, even when she passed away, I still didn't understand who she was. I didn't understand who she was underneath the illness, and the way that I started going through the process. I never did video, it was never meant to be for anybody else to experience. Right. That's why, the whole idea of doing this YouTube channel didn't come up until, there was a lot of healing that happened in the first 3 years, and a lot of, I sought out support groups on Facebook.
There was not, before you had your healing, there was a lot of anger.
So much anger.
And I say that because I don't know if you know who Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is. Mm-mm. She has written a huge series of books on death and dying, and there's 5 stages: denial, anger. It's called DABDA: denial, anger, belief, acceptance. Denial, anger, belief. DAB. DABDA. Acceptance is the last one. Denial, anger. I can never remember it. I had just finished reading the one on her latest book. My dad died in 1990. I had just finished reading her book on children dealing with the death of a loved one, because my oldest boy was turned 4 on the 7th of January. My dad was killed on the 19th of January. And I swear to God, if I had not ever read that book, I don't know how I would have dealt with Justin losing his grandfather, because we lived, my dad, we lived with my parents. And then my grandson's mom died. It was 3 years ago on the 26th of last month. So I've been down this road twice now, and and I'm not saying that there aren't other people out there that have the same, have been through similar situations, but that whole process, the DABDA, works
Yeah.
for so many things other than, and hers was, dealing with death, but that denial, it's 5 stages, and you can see it
Yeah.
with anything that you go through. It doesn't just have to be death. It can be a divorce, it can be a sickness, it can,
Yeah.
it can be anything.
Any type of loss, you end up with
Yeah,
grief.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
So
but the
there
anger
was a
is your strongest
situation with,
emotion.
yes, it was about a year and a half into going through the house. Now the first year I spent the majority outside. But once I ventured in, it took me some time to not feel like I was invading my mother's house, even though she had been gone, for
Like
a
you were
year and a,
sneaking around and hoping you could look through things before she drove in the
but
driveway.
I didn't want to,
No, no,
it
I'm
just,
saying that's the feeling that you had
yeah,
when you were there.
I
Even
felt like if I disturbed anything, she would get upset because that was the cause of so many fights. I would pick something up haphazardly and be like, why do you have this? What is the point of this? And it just, it was like all those emotions were like circulating around me when I would go into the house. So I had to start with very simple things in order to um, make it mine.
right.
Understand that she was gone, and that even though she thought every little thing was a part of her, it wasn't. It's just stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just stuff. But that's for someone that is not
That's
suffering. But
that's
I was programmed to never touch her things. Don't break her things. Don't try to sneak anything to a garbage can, because she would have an emotional breakdown. And I
no,
did
it's
it
true.
before.
It's true,
I
and it's
did it
not.
before.
It wouldn't matter if it was a gold bar or a a post-it note or
Yep.
a freaking empty aluminum can.
Yes.
You
I
know,
was just
take
gonna
the
say empty
aluminum can,
can.
take the crappy piece of paper, but you better tell me what that you're taking them,
Oh shit!
because you
Emotional
know,
breakdown. If
yeah.
there was any chance that something was disturbed around her, and I snuck something to the garbage, it was holy hell. But in about a year and a half into it, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to focus on garbage. And that's all I did when I started out. And the floor, so it was up about
You said that
six
you
to
couldn't
ten
get in any
inches.
of the doors. None of the
Yeah,
doors
so it
open.
was like
So it had
the
to be
floor
pretty
was like
bad.
6 to 10 inches of paper and stuff. And I mean, you couldn't see the floor, you couldn't see the carpet. So
Janet,
I'm sitting
this
down.
this gal right here on the screen, Key Lime Kisses, her name is Gina. Her mom passed 20 years ago. Was it 20 years ago, Gina? Anyway, she I'm pretty sure you're subscribed to Janet's channel now, aren't you, Gina? She's a hoot. And she lives in, oh God, she's gonna kill me. Kansas. No. Oh my God. This is you know,
That's okay.
I know where she lives. I have her
That's
address. I
okay.
sent her
She'll post it. She'll type it. Somebody will fill it in for
she's
you.
she's doing this right now. God damn it, Noelle, you know where I live. Anyway,
No, she's not. She gets
um,
you.
but every once in a while she'll send me pictures of something that was her mom's, and I don't think
Nice.
you're a hoarder, Gina, and ask me if I could, how would you ship something like this, or and I just go, because she has the best of I think what she kept from her mom. She has the best, and every once in a while, I don't
Yeah.
know.
So when I was going through the papers, just touching garbage and things like that, I'm picking up the papers and I'm throwing them out and everything else. And then at one point, I started moving to just a bookshelf, one bookshelf. And I pulled out a book. It was the oldest freaking book I'd ever seen in my entire life. It was written, I want to say 1870 something, and it's called Intramuros. And she had anything that was special, paper wise, she would put in a Ziploc bag because of the mice.
I saw that.
So this book was in a Ziploc bag, and there was an index card in with the book with my mother's handwriting that said, I hope that when I pass away, someone will read excerpts from this book. And I was just like, it was like a gut punch, because my mother thought that she was going to live forever. She never prepared for death. It was one of our biggest arguments.
But she did, didn't she?
So here I am
She
sitting
did,
on the
though, didn't
floor.
she? And you found it the
Yes.
other night.
So I'm sitting on the floor with garbage bags around me and papers and everything else. And I opened this book. I sat there for almost 2 hours. I'm a speed reader. And I read that book cover to cover. And so much healing happened in that moment. The book is about a woman who died, went to heaven, and then came back. And it's her version of heaven.
That's what's going to happen to me. And nobody's going to like me when I come back.
But just the thought process. I mean, some people are religious. Some people are not religious. They don't know where we go or anything else. But this was the most soothing, healing words that could have possibly been presented to me at that particular moment. And the idea that she was somewhere healed of her illness and actually able to enjoy her things and be creative and make things and all this other stuff, it changed my relationship with this storm that was following me around in the house. And all of a sudden I'm going to start crying. All of a sudden I could start laughing with my mom, and have conversations with her as I was going through the house. And, sarcasm is my primary language. So my mom was used to it. So I would find something and I'd be like, really? What's this about? And literally I could feel her presence. I could feel the conversation happening. I could feel her laughing now that she was healed, and it was just absolutely amazing. Anyone that is suffering from loss or grief or death in this type of situation where it's not clear cut, you got to read this book. And I think it's
so Janet now. I'm going to give you a little challenge here.
Okay.
How many chapters do you think are in this book?
I don't know.
I think
I didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't drink anything. I don't even.
But you're a speed reader.
I just watched it.
But I think that you, in a calm room with maybe, I don't know, you're going to have to get somebody who's really good at editing. And there's quite a few people in our. Bye, Carter. Thanks a lot for stopping by. Carter is up by Scotty and Chris and all that. He's
nice.
He's in between the two of them, and they're Canadian. I call it Canada. I have a lot of friends I worked with at Freightliner that came down because Freightliner bought Western Star, which was a Canadian truck company building. Anyway, so that's I always called it Canada, and I thought that was funny. But I think that book would be a good book for you to narrate a vlog, like an audio book. And maybe, because the reason why I say you is because you have a personal stake in it, and you would be able
That
to
book was
read
life
that
changing for
with
me.
the emotion in your voice that a book like that needs to be read. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I don't know. I don't know if it was for my experience or someone else's experience, but I mean,
It doesn't matter.
yeah,
There's certain people that can read certain books and they make that book better than even the author ever thought it would be because of their experiences in life. You could listen to an audiobook that you would never ever pick up and read as a book, because of the person's voice and what they've
you know
been
what,
through.
Noelle, that's a really great idea, and the reason that I'm even considering everything that I do on my YouTube channel, I do it for me.
Yeah.
It's completely and utterly for me. And then as people join the journey, it becomes something for them, but at the same time, it's still, I'm not going to get into shopping haul videos or thrift with
No.
me. I'm not looking for, I want organic subscribers. I want people, real people is what I
That's,
want.
that's well,
And
obviously you can tell. I mean, I don't have a green screen.
yeah,
And you could probably ask pretty much everybody in the chat that I'm about as real as you're going to find. I
same.
don't sugarcoat anything, not a dang thing. I won't call somebody out that's done something wrong to me, but I will in a way, shape, or form make it known that somebody's done something wrong,
Yep.
because they're gonna get best. They're gonna do it to themselves.
Karma's going to get them.
Exactly.
Yep.
But I'm
What comes
pretty much
around goes around.
what what I used to say this all the time. I haven't said it in a long time. I've fucking died 3 times and I'm still here. I don't have the time to deal with people's bullshit.
Good
So
girl.
if they wanna be who they want to, who everybody thinks that they should be, more power to you, sister
Yep.
or brother, whatever.
Yep.
I don't have time for that bullshit anymore. My channel is for me. And my channel is
Yep.
for my kids and my grandkids to go back and watch, because for years I wouldn't let anybody take pictures of me because I weighed close to 300 pounds and I didn't want my picture taken.
Yeah.
So there aren't a lot of
what you're
pictures
saying.
of me that my kids have from when they were little and growing up.
Yeah.
And so this channel is for me. It is for them. My grandson, if he knows I'm live, he is on here.
Aw.
He knows all of my people. He talks to them.
Nice.
You know, he's my buddy. He's my little buddy. We do everything together. He
Yes.
irritates the crap out of me at times. He's out here the other night. He was driving me nuts because and
Yep.
I shouldn't say he was driving me nuts. My tolerance level for the day had been done.
Yeah.
And so my patience level with him, and it was almost midnight and he should have been in bed.
Yeah.
But he's really missing his mom right now. And I can always tell. So he's 7 and he had to be taken 8 weeks early because she was dying. And then she was on dialysis until she passed away 3 years ago. So, I mean,
I'm so sorry.
And he knows that she didn't take care of herself and that we couldn't make her take care of herself, because I'm honest that way. I don't want anybody to sugarcoat that shit. I do not talk bad about her. I answer any question I can. She would, my son and her never married, but I call her my daughter-in-law. She lived here with us. Dren's only ever lived in this house. She helped me through my cancer. She, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as her family is concerned, she was my daughter-in-law, and they called Justin their son. Lissa, yeah, Lissa, where's that sassy? Lissa's not quite awake yet. She's still in a drugged up stupor from her sleeping pill. But it's sometimes I feel bad, but I don't lie to him. If he asks me a question, and the answer that I want to give him is an adult answer. Sometimes he gets that adult answer because if you ever you'll know if you watch some of my videos and you see him in it, you'll see. Well, are you on Instagram?
Yes, I created an Instagram like 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Literally like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I subscribed because a bunch of people were asking how to communicate with me.
Yeah.
I also,
that's
my
the best way.
Antiques from Karen has a Facebook group
Okay.
as well.
All right.
But Instagram seems to be doing well because it actually alerts me on my phone.
Exactly.
But I don't know how to use it.
Well, we can teach you that. That's not that's not a.
I did.
You figured out how to edit and do videos.
I did.
So don't discount yourself. If you follow me on Instagram, and it's the same Farm Girl Scavenger.
Okay.
There's no Noelle, but it's Farm Girl Scavenger. You'll go down and you'll see a picture of my grandson. He's done 2 teaching videos, and then you'll know. I mean, you only have to watch. They're connected together. So the first one will run and the second one, they're like maybe 5 minutes each. I don't know, but it'll give you, if you need a good giggle, go watch those.
Okay.
Anyway, he needs to have his own channel. His dad doesn't want him to, and I get that. So he will have one sooner or later. So right now,
how old is he?
He's 7. He'll be 8 in July.
My grandson's 7 too.
So right now he lives vicariously on YouTube through my channel. And that's where that is. But he's super lonely right now because no school. He doesn't get to see his mom's side of the family because they don't treat me well. They don't like me at all.
That sucks.
That's their problem, not mine. But
exactly.
But the problem that it creates is Dren needs them. Yeah. And it is not fair of them to be that way. I don't talk bad about them at all. That's not my place.
Kids are resilient though.
They are resilient.
They are very resilient. As much as you try to protect them, let them experience the rotten.
I don't want him to be. There's a really good book everybody should watch. I think you can get it on audio. I hate this keyboard. So I bought another one. Let me type it in here. My grandmother's.
No, while I've got to run, I am actually at work.
I know nothing.
You were just, my heart just pulled. I needed to come in and say hello and reassure you and wrap a virtual hug around you. And I'll watch this back later. But I got to run out and do some work stuff, and then I can be able to get back on.
Don't feel so guilty for getting paid while you're talking to the crazy lady in Washington.
Crazy lady in New York, right here.
A good person I want you to meet, and if you get contacted by Dominic Primetime Treasure Hunter, it'll be through me.
Me?
So he is in Syracuse, and
okay.
he is a board certified neuropsychologist, and he is a reseller. Primetime Treasure Hunter. Go check him out. I was one of his first followers, and he's interviewed me too. So he did a whole thing with me on my burn and all that. Super cool guy. So
all right. Well, I'm gonna run and knock out some work stuff and
go do your thing. And
Hugs
you probably have a few more subscribers. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, you guys, there you have it. This book that I put in here, My Grandmother's Hands, my youngest son, suggested this, and I'll tell you what, it's talks about the tragedies that our ancestors have gone through the decades that are basically ingrained in them that they pass down to us. And you want a good book to read, or I don't know, somebody said they thought that it was on audio. I don't know. I strongly suggest that book. Maybe we should do a book club. I don't have time for that, but I love you guys. Annie, good morning. Anyway, this gal, Miss Janet, has I think everybody that has somebody that knows somebody that was a hoarder or that was in the situation that she is, she's doing this channel for her and her healing, but it's going to be something that's going to be out there to hopefully really help and heal other people, unlike the reality TV shows. So thank you so much, Janet. Cameron, good morning. We're just getting ready to head out. But you missed a good show. I had Janet from Antiques from Karen on here, and she just left. And I'm gonna have to go because I have to do my shipping. My one sale from last night. Thanks, Cameron. Stay out of trouble, Bubble. All right, all of you guys and gals and anybody that's lurking in the background, thank you so much. I think we were up to 26 people at one point in time. I saw I just about had a heart attack there. I got to give myself a thumbs up because why wouldn't I? I was trying to think. I haven't been able to go back and read. Can you please get Jan to once and for all? So Gina, this one I wanted to highlight. Oh, shit. All right, I'm in YouTube now, so I can't highlight it on YouTube. Gina, did she answer? You too, Kevin. Give Miss Kitty a hug for us. Or if it's Miss Kitty, give Kevin a hug for us. Hopefully, Gina, did she answer? Okay, perfect. Because I couldn't spit that one out. Anyway, all right, you guys, I love you. Have a great rest of your day. For sure, I'll be back on Sunday with a whether I go sourcing this weekend or not. I have plenty of stuff to show that I haven't shown from other estate sales. Thanks, Lissa. And I haven't read the chat from last night's video because the chat hasn't uploaded on my video. I don't know if it's even there at all. I have no idea. So yeah, I got hours and hours. I'm hoping I have enough bubble wrap. I'm gonna have to triple box that baby. I will definitely give Elise a hug. So yeah, I have to get my one little thingy here shipped. And that's good. I'm good with that because I don't need to ship a bunch of stuff today. Christy, big fat hug for you. Love you guys. See ya. And be kind.